Okay, sorry for the glaring light in the background. I did not prepare the stage. I'm going to tease up there. I got a frog in my voice, so I got to get rid of this and start again. Well, I'll be darned. I think I learned how to put it on pause. This old dog can learn new tricks. Folks, the party's over. It is over. And I'm going to tell you how to save your ass. There's two assets you want to get a hold of. Now, the first one I recommended, my buddies went out and they bought coins in Toledo and they got them for $1.90 a piece. I called and the price is down to $1.76 a piece. So the trend is negative. The trend is downward, which is actually positive for you and me. It's time to cash in some of this fiat phony money into some real silver dimes. It's the real March of Dimes that's going to save your ass. The other things that you can buy into that are going to hold their value are nickels, because it's real nickel. That's the same stuff they put in the nickel cadmium batteries. And pennies. Copper pennies, which last I heard were about 1.7 cents a piece, which is actually probably the best deal of all. Think about it. You can get a hold of copper, wheat, pennies. You got a real penny with real copper in it for 1.7 cents. Okay. And the dime's not costing you 17 cents to buy. It's costing you $1.76 to buy. I'd put pennies away, and I continue to put silver dimes away. The beast system is coming down. We need to applaud the central government for its grotesque, obscene spending. I mean, they've grown this government. They put everything on the dole possible, including the entire world. We put the world on the dole. I mean, let's shove some more money into the Ukraine. That black hole over there, because it's good for business. The money gets to come back to the politicians' pockets, and you don't even see it. You don't even know what's going on. Because the dumbass is not a region in the Ukraine. And then here we got this series of wars starting in Israel. Oh, no, they're not going to end this son of a bitch. They're just getting started. They're going to genocide the 2 million or so people in the Gaza. That's right, they're going to kill them all. And guess what, boys and girls? They're going to move on to bigger and better. What do I call them? Oh, it's called the West Bank. That's right. Yeah, they're going to go after the West Bank immediately as soon as they're done with Gaza. You can count on it. And this government will be led by the nose like they continue to be by that little postage stamp of a fake country over in the Middle East. Rothschild land. Down. She had her breakfast. She's got to go out, but she's going to go down right now. What did I say? Oh, I'm going to go in my kennel. I'm going to go pout. What a princess, huh? It's a safe place. Pretty much. Unless I get real angry, then it's not a safe place anymore. She's trapped. Down. Well, she's going to go in the kennel. She's going to lay down in the kennel, too. I ain't taking no for answers. Why do you want silver dimes? Because you're going to be able to feed yourselves when all hell breaks loose. And let's pray for hell to break loose. It's the only way to take down the beast system. You realize they set the trap for you and me. But they're the ones stuck in it. You and me, we're going to be fine. But there's a protected group of people. That's the words in the courthouses. The protected class. And apparently that's held in secret trust. So you and I don't get to know who the protected class is. But they cannot, their assets cannot be gone after no matter what. So basically it's the predatory class. And it's hidden from us in the courts. The attorneys help them. That's right. This legal system's got to come down. And the medical system, they killed 1 billion of us this first half of the go-around. And by the way, there's signs that the payload is coming due, and they're activating it, and coming up with it. And I think that one of the signs of that is a bloody discharge post-nasal drip. So if you're kicking out blood and you wonder what the hell it's from, I don't know. We don't know what's in there. The Wuhan Lab's Chinese scientist who now lives in New York told us and warned us. And Fleming documented it. The entire discussion is in his book, which I highly recommend. I read it in about 4 hours. Okay, maybe it was 6 hours. But I didn't read every little page on the financial proofs showing that our government funded COVID all the way through, baby. Oh, they'd never do that, Dr. Kent. That's crazy stuff. That's crazy man talking. They would never do that to us because we're the biggest and the greatest in the world. You narcissistic nuts. You aren't the biggest and greatest in the world. And if you are, I got news for you. It's going to be a hard fall. It's not going to be a soft landing. No, it's going to be a very hard fall. You're going to be hard put, just like me, just like the rest of us, to defend yourself. The criminality is going to be wild, off the charts. Forget about the cops. That's legal, organized crime. It's time you woke up to it. It's time you woke up to the fact you have a duty to your neighbors. Get your gun. Learn how to shoot it. Sight it in. It's where I screw up at. So much for my backlighting. I know it gets really macabre. Okay, we'll go to our backup lighting. I need you to stock up on silver dimes. Yes, the price is going to go down. They do that by design. The whole thing's manipulated. So it really doesn't matter when you have it. That's your safety net. That's how you're going to be able to buy food and fuel. Who else on the block is going to be able to produce a silver dime to buy whatever the last widget is that's on the shelf? You got to take care of yourself. I called Toledo and I wanted to get them to send me some silver dimes. No, we can't mail that much there. What? What kind of service is that? So I'm going to run a local ad. They're charging $1.06 for a dime at the exchange, which means that if you want to go in and sell, well, you're probably selling it $1.64 or something like that. So I'm going to put an ad up for $1.75, which is not a lot of money, but when you hear 17.5 times face value, that's scary to the average person. I was buying dimes there for a while. Much cheaper. $130, $135 a roll. Then I also was buying gold at silver rather, at much higher prices. Now gold has been really steady in this stuff. The silver they manipulate. It was Bernard Baruch who gave you the bimetal standard. We were on a gold standard until then. That's how we got the bimetal standard. The value was set by law to favor Bernard Baruch's accumulation of wealth. After all, the boy only held 5/16 of the silver reserves of the world and boasted about it. He was the advisor to presidents. My mother wanted me to take after Bernard Baruch. She didn't know what the hell the guy was about. But I'm pretty proud of my mother because in November, and she died 6 months later, well, a little bit over 6 months later. In November, she was still thinking clearly. And we lost her and her brain power somewhere in the month of December, maybe January. That's when her oxygen levels went too low. She started waking up in the middle of the night beating on Dad, and I heard about that shit long distance because nobody else up there has got any responsibility or can think straight. Well, we got him the help he needed. We found out my mom was panicking because of low oxygen. She wasn't beating on him. She used to do that shit, though. Yeah. Where there is no respect, there can be no love. Mom failed to respect Dad. And of course, Dad was reared to be a gentleman and to allow himself to be walked all over. You know what I say to that? trying to make sure your prayers are having an effect on me, so I will self-censor this one time. But you know what the crude part of Dr. Kent would utter right to that right now. And of course, it doesn't make me look very intelligent. It's very uncouth. I hate that language myself, yet I use it. Oh, I want to say it so badly. You ladies think that you're going to rule the roost, and you do. And you're going to get all the money you can. You actually have most of the assets of the world. And you run the place, too. You keep saying if women run the world, you've been running it for quite a while, and you don't know it. The group of women behind the scenes are like, man, they're real killers. So how do you like it the way it is? Where the Queen of Heaven rules on earth. Yahweh is pissed off. The one thing he can't stand is those who worship the Queen of Heaven. See, Yahweh insists on being king. And he's going to give us all kinds of hell on earth until we get our asses straight with him. So buy my Bibles, give them to each other. Talk about the Bibles. Get your friends curious about things. If you see things that pique your curiosity and you go, what the heck is that doing in the Bible? Like the other day in Isaiah where I read, I create evil. Yahweh said that. What? Yahweh, how could you? How could you create evil? It's a little bit above my pay grade, I know. I'm just a captain. I ain't no general. Get ready, folks. They're going to pull the rug out from underneath us with the idea that we're going to panic and we're going to beg them to bail us out. Don't give them that. The cities are going to be panicking and demanding to be bailed out. Those in the countryside are going to be demanding to be left alone. They created this monster. They created this beast system. You understand? This is the culmination of all three Babylons. We are at the end of the game. We're playing for all the marbles. That's what Ray told me. And he's waiting for Joseph to take the stage again. There's a problem with that, you see. Joseph didn't do too good last time in my book because he served Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's reared his ugly head. And I know you think I'm a racist. What if I told you it was an entirely different species? What if I told you that not based upon skin type, but based upon skull type, it was a different species? What if I told you instead of having two parietal lobes, or two parietal bones, they only had one big one, one massive one, that allowed them to have hold 25% more cortex than what we have? Yes, we're talking about a superior race. At least they think they're superior. And they major in evil. Yeah, in that they are superior. And they read the Bible and know it better than you or I do. They use it. They use it against us. As far as they are concerned, they're playing by the rules. And you are granting your consent. Yes, right. You asked for this. You demanded help. I want the government to help me. Please don't get me wrong. I've been on both sides of the fence. I was a classic liberal back when it was different than it is today. We had a better time than what you're having now. Unfortunately, the seeds were set to screw this whole place up. And we got a killing machine that is... I know you think that stuff only happens outside our borders. You know, those rogue bands of killers. That's only in third world countries. That never happened in the United States of America. Who do you think killed Marilyn Monroe? Who do you think killed John F. Kennedy? They're lovers. They were lovers. Who do you think killed them? Who do you think kills the naturopathic physicians and people in the master's level working in the immunology system, especially with children? They kill those people all the time because they got to keep the secrets. How many astronauts did they kill to hide their secrets there? The big lie. My God, we've taken really well after our red-headed stepchild in the Middle East. That errant red-headed stepchild. Yeah. What color was Esau's hair? Please don't go targeting redheads. Even though I don't get along with them, generally speaking, all that well, they ain't all bad ones. Besides, my dad loved redheads and my mother wanted to come back as a redhead. I don't know. I thought my mother was the most beautiful woman on earth. I think little boys think that. We idolize our mothers. We put them on pedestals and we worship them. Ooh, how much trouble can that get us into? You're going to have to say no to mom. You're going to have to get a backbone. You're going to have to man up. You're going to have to learn how to say no. Don't say any more. I say too much. I don't need to let them in on my business and my thinking anymore. When I do, I think I'm helping them understand how to think a little bit better for themselves. No, man, I just make myself vulnerable. I'm dropping my boundaries. I don't have good boundaries. This kid I met that I'm going to work with, I don't know if he knows it yet or not. I might know a thing or two he doesn't after all. He's got good boundaries. Or at least he knows how to isolate and protect himself better than I do. He knows what he wants. And here it is. Dr. Kent shows up, mucking up his world. Not very fair of me. I can't wait to hear the music myself. That's how excited I am. I ain't sleeping too good. I haven't been this excited in a long time. I don't even know if I can tune my guitar up anymore. Now, my Gibson back there, the Hummingbird, she never goes out of tune. Seriously. I don't know if they make those strings I put on her anymore. I don't know much about anything anymore. They've changed the amps completely, so I'm going to buy an imitation of the old circuitry today. I hope it works. I get to go and taste 3 different flavors of this Class A circuitry. I think they're all 3 Class A's. I get to taste 3 of them. I don't get to walk out with whichever one I want, but I walk out knowing which one I want. If not, I walk out with the one I want, maybe. Only one's available. I love that speaker he's got in there, so I think he's got my amp. It's a Franken's amp. It's been put together. It's been coddled and conjured together, so the proof is in the pudding. I don't know what it's going to sound like. I guess we could say it's a one of a kind, like moi. I guarantee you, Yahweh broke the mold once this one come out. Don't worry, folks. I don't think I could tolerate another one of me either. My mother certainly couldn't. I will kill you. Oh, my God. I don't know how many times did my mother say that to me. Do you think we should censor my mom? She showed up in my dream this last week. She walked right on through my life. She was skinny. She left a fat lady. The fat lady sure as hell sung. And she told me in November she had finally figured out it really is the jerks. After all these years, no, don't tell me that I love the jerks. And I was looking forward to taking her to the next step where, Mom, there's good figs and bad figs. I was going to take her to the next step so she could understand the bigger picture. She was getting a little slow towards the end, and I was moving as quickly as she'd let me move. I used to buy my books, have them shipped to the house, and tell her mom read them first, and ship them to me because she loved reading. So I bought 3 of these books that I figured out were classics to reveal things. And I lost a couple of books that way. I bought Jet's original issue and he autographed it, and I lost that copy. I bought another copy for the full price in hardback. That's an excellent book. You need to understand something. These jerks have set this whole thing up to bring it down, and bring it down quickly. So all of these legal, fiscal, all these instruments and devices, that's the real word, device. They're all set in place so then when they pull the plug on this thing, it comes down like, what's that called, a Django house or something? The blocks where you stack them up and you remove one block and the whole thing comes down. They aren't even going to be able to stop it or slow it down when they pull the plug. That's where you and I come in. These youngsters insist they're going to lead. Yeah. My whole job was to preserve my life to get to this point where I could show you what had happened and tell you what to do. And that's what I'm going to do. And if you little turds out there aren't going to listen, don't worry. I don't have to do a damn thing. Somebody come along and clean your clock. I don't have to do a damn thing. This whole thing's been set up so things fall into place, including where I land on my feet. Yeah, what did those Blues Brothers say? We're on a mission for God. Brother Nathaniel, I love you and your videos out there. We've crossed paths, almost met so many times it's not funny. We know some of the same people. They know us. I'm allergic to Colorado. They made revolvers illegal in Colorado. You can't have a gun that holds more than 5 rounds. Or that's what's coming. I don't know what. All I know is it's one state that, I loved it as a little boy, although it scared the hell out of me looking out of the car down those cliffs and ravines. Oh, man. There were no guardrails up, and that baby was steep. And I would jump back down to the floor of the car, scared. Then I remember the Garden of the Gods, getting out on that bridge as a little boy. Oh, boy. It was so far down there. I didn't think I was going to make it back to the land. Scared the heck out of me. One of those things that stuck with me. What beautiful land. Been across that bridge, but traffic moves so quickly I don't think you can stop on it anymore. I'll have to see if I can actually walk out on it this time, but I guess I could go up to the Grand Canyon. The natives got that glass walkway where you walk out over the canyon. From what I understand, people get real woozy walking on that. It's kind of scary because they can see straight down. You see, we have a natural fear of heights. It doesn't develop until I can't remember how old. It's been a while since I practiced psychology, but we don't have that fear until a certain particular age. Then we get it, all of us. It's like it's part of the species. Yes, I believe in cellular memory. Why not? I think it goes smaller than that. Why not? Open your minds. Become more flexible. Hi, grasshopper. Get a new perspective. Just for the exercise. Just to get your mental, just to get things going. So that you don't get blindsided. Well, 2024, they promised to pull the plug. We can turn the tables on them. We can turn the tables on them. Yeah, just like the little children we really are. Most Americans are freaking innocent. Just like the Germans were innocent, by the way. More innocent than the Americans. They were better than us. And yet that bullshit was on a screen back home scaring the whatever it was. Scaring the hell out of me. Could anybody really be that evil? That bad? Dr. Kent, nobody could be that evil, that bad. They'd have to be crazy. What about a whole class, a whole race, or should I say a sub-race, that loves that bad stuff? Houston, we got a problem. These folks know the truth. Wow. What are you going to do about that? What's justice look like in Houston? Does it look like a bunch of nukes going off and sanitizing the earth right there? Does it look like the Gulf of Mexico rears way, way back for about 45 minutes or maybe even 2 hours? The water disappears, comes raging forward, washes up inland for hundreds of miles, and then comes roaring back. The Gulf of Mexico comes back to rest in her bed, scouring all traces of that city away. You screwed with me, and I tried to warn you. You screwed with me, and the problem is that there's a price to pay, and it's out of my control. You think I can make that shit happen? Come on, man. You're nuts. Do you think I would make that happen? I'm pretty upset about it, but I've learned a long time ago, lose, but don't lose the lesson. Can I take the loss? I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. There is no law enforcement in Houston. From what I can tell, the police were all off. Hey, that's all it takes. No wonder the murder rate is so high. I wouldn't be surprised if the cops kill for hire. One of the highest murder rates in the country. I'm not going to go back there again, I don't think. I don't think there's any reason to go back there. And if there is a reason to go back there, I think that's more reason to just say, I'll take the loss. Y'all can keep it. But the tsunami's going to scour you right away. And that's target number 1 in the United States. Houston. What's left of our industrial base. They got to take it out. They're going to try to blame it on an asteroid, too. Talk about a false flag. What a wicked one it's going to be if they can pull it off and get away with it. Barack got pissed off at him, by the way. I think he ordered them to blow a nuke off in the ocean like 4 times, and they refused to do it. Hey, you said nobody could be that evil. I didn't say it. Ask Mikey about how wicked it can get. The motivation, the rage. That poor boy is misunderstood. I think I need to visit him, and I think I need to clear his name. I don't think he raped that woman. I don't believe her one bit. Not only that, I think any woman who has done that to a man goes to prison. I don't care if it's Tent City all over again, and if I have to go raise Joe Arpaio from his grave or something. in your biggest prison in the world. It's in Alaska. They just haven't activated it yet. It's in the rolling tundra. In a horrible place, exposed. And it's designed to hold a lot more people than what's in the state of Alaska. Wonder who come up with that idea. Let's put them on ice. And we got a psychiatric prison that's in mothballs, was built, well, more than 50 years ago probably, and it's never been opened. It's on Moose Creek. It's about 8 miles outside of Fairbanks, on a dogleg of the railroad that's not used very much. So yeah, we got the railroads made to their psychiatric gulag. 2 million people can be held in that open air concentration camp up there. It begins with a T. It's north of Talkeetna, I think. Or maybe it's approaching Talkeetna. I can't remember. Must be approaching Talkeetna because I remember seeing the big one over the hills. So it ain't too far from that area. Yeah, I miss the place, but it's changed a lot. It's nowhere. It's not even half the state it was when I arrived. Oh my God. It was so free. I think it was said we had more bars than churches. The club stayed open round the clock. They never closed. Slowly but surely they closed them and got rid of some of the quaintness. But they also got rid of the other quaintness, which I really like. It was such a level playing field that you could talk to anyone, any place, and everybody talked to each other. And you didn't know if the guy in the Carhartts was maybe a rich dude, fisherman, or a miner. You just didn't know who you were talking to. Because we all dressed for the weather and we tended to dress down, very practical, very pragmatic. Some of these folks, you'd talk to them and you'd think, wow, I mean, they really were intelligent. They were deep thinkers and they were open. And we never bothered with names. We didn't introduce ourselves to each other. We just talked to each other like we'd known each other forever. Prejudice? Oh, that was engineered into the society too. Don't you realize it's been socially engineered in? I can't think of the term, coined in about 1936. Psychosocial biological warfare. I think that's it. There's a couple of variations on it. Go look at my blog or one of the archive blogs, and you'll see a couple of ways that I wrote it up. Yeah, we're at war. We've been at war for, I think, 1812, to be honest with you. I don't think that war ever ended. And I know you're going to criticize me as being racist because I point out that Barack Obama, well, he wasn't your first black president. And it sure as hell wasn't Willie Jefferson Clinton. First black hole for a president, maybe. No, your first black president was Honest Abe. And by the way, not only did he have that genetics in him, like Obama had it, they both also had the other set of genetics in them too. Yeah, they were both jerks. No, I shouldn't say it like that. I make it too obvious. Yeah, they were cut from the same cloth, all right. Not too far from the Rothschilds. Especially Honest Abe. He was a direct descendant. He was a 3-in-1 man. You natives out there think you never had a president. What do you think Abraham Lincoln was? He was your first Native American president. Maybe your only one. I don't know. There's probably some Indian in some of the others. As they say, there's always an Indian in a woodpile. What a horrible saying. The fact is, none of us knows what we really are. And not only on top of that, if we go back to the previous Earth ages, none of us knows what we came from back then. But we have a race of people with a whole different cranial structure from the rest of us. Yep, Pharaoh, rearing his ugly head. So where do you find that skull shape? Come on, think about it. There's only 2 places on the face of the earth where you really find that skull shape today. That skull structure. And I ain't going to tell you. But I'm going to tell you this. They pretend they're neutral. What a better way to work all parties. Just like those bastards at the Oracle at Delphi. Working all sides. Selling poisons, toxins, snake venom, convid. No, folks, I give you a lot of loose associations, a lot of word associations. The purpose of those is so that you start thinking. I'm not giving you the conclusions, although I could be guilty of that and not know it. I was pretty highly trained. So what you're picking up from me is actually my beliefs. If you're thinking in line with me, then that's my thinking. That's not your thinking. That's not what's going on. And that's what happens with your news media. You feed at the trough there like all the rest of the piggies do. And you think like the rest of the piggies because your masters feed you slop. Yeah? And you think for yourself. It's one thing I didn't like about my dad. He told me what to think instead of how to think. I wish he'd have shared his thought processes with me. Of course, my mom insisted I share my thought processes with her. And the problem was, didn't matter. She wasn't going to be able to keep up with me. She wasn't going to be able to go there. This young gentleman I met, he's so intelligent. I mean, I don't realize how bright he is until I walk off and I start talking about him to somebody else, and I realize the profound depth of his simple statement. Reminds me of my farmer friends. He's got that kind of wisdom. Yep. Oh, my plans, my ideas may fall by the wayside again. But I'm not giving up. I'm going to go try out a guitar amp today. Actually, I'm going to try out 3. I may walk off with 1. And then I spoke to another fellow, and I'm going to buy his amp as well. I tried to buy the local guy's amp from him, but he wouldn't give me a bill of sale. I'm sorry. What I hate more than anything else is when somebody steals from a musician. Musicians are broke as hell anyway, can't afford shit. I had to eat Cheerios 3 times a day. And you may think, well, what's wrong with that? At least you're eating. No, it undermined my whole health and my whole life. That's on General Mills. Oh, I'm not going to put it out there to this damn medical board. They're not ready for the truth. They aren't. The medical doctors, the dumbasses they are. I went to another specialist. I asked him a simple question. He could not. He gave me the standard bullshit answer. It's genetics. I'm sorry, baby. If you're that dumb, I don't think I'm going to let you do much with me. Seriously. Because we know the causes of cancers. And we know the government made it illegal to treat it except with the cut, slash, and burn methods. It's illegal. It's against the law to treat cancer. It's been that way for almost a century. But at the same time, they gave us reefer madness. Wonder if that has anything to do with it. What about that anointing oil in the Bible? Is the cannabis plant mentioned in the scriptures? There's some things that are mentioned indirectly, like the killing of Cain. It's actually in a secondary book referred to in the Bible. If it's mentioned in the Bible and referred to, I give it some credibility, don't you? Don't you? I mean, the Bible is its reference. I don't have references in my mind proper. I haven't used that language in a while, so I haven't exercised it, so I've lost it a little bit. Okay, folks, this is number 161. What I wanted to tell you was the reason Roe versus Wade, why it had to be set aside, is because they don't want to give you a right to privacy. Now, I will ask you, is there a right to privacy in the Constitution? And I will answer you and say, yes, there is. It's in the Bill of Rights. The Constitution never would have been accepted by the states if there was no Bill of Rights. So it's inherent in the Bill of Rights that we have a right to our personal effects and our papers and privacy. And here we have a government that won't stop spying on us. Hey, they're tracking everything I do. I'm such a danger, they're doing it in real time. They let me know yesterday. I sent my housekeeper a message. And then I had to follow it up to make sure she understood by 10 o'clock. That's all I said. Come by 10 o'clock. And I'm watching as the letters roll across the screen. And I'm going, what the heck? I didn't say all that. So before I hit the send button, because a lot of that text was off my screen, I couldn't see it. I had to scroll back. I said, I'm going to take a look at this son of a bitch. I don't think that was artificial intelligence. I think that was a real human being taking over my machine and trying to screw up my relationship. Yeah. It said some nasty stuff that was fit for a porn movie. It wasn't fit between me and my housekeeper. Of course, I erased it, but I realized in respect that I just should have sent it and told him this showed up on my screen. What the hell's going on? Because now I don't have proof of it. And I can't remember exactly what it said because I remember I dictated one phrase. It was like 3 phrases long. The ghost in the machine, huh? I got news for you. They're screwing with you all the time. And they're screwing with me all the time. They're doing their best to create as much stress and havoc as they can. I look forward to the day when this system comes down, when we take down this bank system. My uncle was instrumental in this system. I wish he was alive so I could ask him questions, but I also realized that he was captured. He was kidnapped. He was suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, so even if he had survived this fall, was still alive, he wouldn't be able to help me anymore. They had damn near turned his brains into mincemeat. I mean, they had churned away. It was like they did a lobotomy on him. I watched him shift personalities like it was going out of style. I'd never seen anything like it. And I sat there feeling powerless and hopeless because I couldn't help my uncle. I saw this shit in front of me. I saw him swapping out, going in and out. And I watched him becoming humble and demure. And then when the parties left, he'd turn to me and pick his pace right up and speak the bare bones truth. Very sharp. But it scared me. I didn't know what I was dealing with. I now know that family was wicked. They kidnapped my uncle psychologically and abused the hell out of him so he couldn't think right. Why did they do that? They did that with their attorneys so they could rob him and rob me too I have a hearing before the New Hampshire Supreme Court at some point. I'm not going to bother to go there. I am going to provide a statement, and I'm going to send in. I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy myself some Webster's Bibles, and I'm going to send it and say, I enter this into the court's record. These are the terms we shall use. Because you can't trust these attorneys. They're wicked. They're evil. They're all British. They're all bar. They're all bar accreditation regency. They rule over you in place of their king. Well, you had a queen for most of my life. Yeah, I think she was coronated the year I was born or something. They got a king now. I call him the king of Babylon. It's in the Bible. Come on, you got to read it. Don't expect me to remember the passages, chapters, and verse. Jeremiah put that stone aside and told us the king of Babylon was going to get crowned on it. I got news for you, baby. The king of Babylon has arrived. That red dragon. Yeah. So, what color is your dragon? I'm not going to answer that for you. That's up to you to spend your time in the scriptures, in the Holy Scriptures. And you and the Holy Spirit will determine what color your dragon is. We may be talking in allegories. We may be talking a little bit more literally and concretely than what you realize. Not everything just is an abstraction and remains an abstraction. A lot of things are conceptualized first, thought into existence, and then birthed. Those children were conceptualized, conceived, and birthed. The earth gives birth, and the earth labors very harshly and hard, just like a woman does when she's giving birth. Only she gives birth to a new age, a new day. For Yahweh, it's probably a day. In perspective. Maybe it's a year for him. I don't know. I haven't talked with him lately. I haven't had a chance to ask him, but believe me, I'm asking him now, and maybe he'll answer the question. As you go about your day with your questions, just marvel, stay attuned and listen. The answer might come from an unexpected place, like a whisper in the wind. May Yahweh bless you.